Hi everyone, welcome. I'm just moving some stuff around, getting that speaker a little bit closer. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you what I'm doing today, just so you know. I'm going to decorate the top of this bag. Now this is the Yazi, what they call it, the project tote. Or project bag, okay, or block bag, I think it's called, block bag, okay. So it's Velcroed, obviously, it has a clear sleeve, and you can pop your blocks in there for you to see. This is a project that I'm doing, this is a project that I'm doing. So I'm going to take this out just because it's going to get in my way. And the section that I'm going to be decorating is going to be here. So decorating the part that's not in the Velcro and that doesn't get near the handle. So the best way to do this is to iron on, is obviously measure. Now I don't have my mat and blade, so I'm just going to use scissors because I can always cut it back once I finish. So as long as I get enough to cover that area, okay, and a little bit more. This is just a backing fabric. So once, and don't forget to say hello when you're on. So get this long enough that it will cover that area. I'm just going to cut that out, like just cut it out of that fabric, just so that I've got that piece. I know it's wide enough. It's a little bit ragged, but that doesn't really matter. And I'm going to just give it a quick press with my mini iron. So these Yazi bags are available. Good question. I know you're going to ask me how much they are. This one is $34.95. Made from very good materials. They are made on the treadle machines over in India by a company called Yazi. And Yazi is owned by Australian people. So you're supporting Australia as well as the Indian people. So don't forget to say hello so I know you're here. Like and share the page so we can get as many people on as we can. Now you can still decorate this back bit if you want. Just means that you would have to attach it by hand because you can't really sew that under the machine. I mean, you could, but you might find it to be really quite awkward, especially when you get up into the corners. So if you're wanting to actually do the whole back, yes, you can, but you might need to slip stitch it down across around the back. But this is how we're going to make this ours. So I know that when I go to any workshop or any function where I'm taking a block or whatever and I'm showing it off, or, you know, I'm going to finish it, whether it's by hand or by machine, that I know that this is my bag. And anyone else has a red Yazi bag, if it's decorated differently, I know it's theirs. If it's not decorated, I know it's there. If it's decorated exactly like I did it, I know it's 100% mine. All right. So please let me know that the video is okay and that you can hear me well. Be good to know. And that you can see everything I'm doing. That would be super awesome. Okay, even a thumbs up would be great. Little thumbs uppies. Those ones. Not the thumbs down. We don't do those. All right, so I'm going to pop this bag aside because now I have the reasonable area that I know I'm going to work in. Then I know that I can measure this later to cut back my piece of crazy patchwork. Normally I would have a centerpiece. Hi, Terry. See you all fine, Michelle. Thank you very much. I do have my iron there. I'm just going to move it out of the way. It won't really be needed to use all the time. So I'm just going to pop it down there so I don't burn myself or anyone else. And this is my little work area that I'm going to work on. I have a whole heap of these blinging things. And I had these from the other day as well. And mine off. And I also got some newies. So I'm just going to grab some of those just to show you. So I'm going to use this in it as well, because I think that with this being 1 metre long, we can actually use this across this way, plenty of measurement in it. So I want it to go long ways, not, I can go across, I suppose, it doesn't really matter. If I start there, everything is going to go in that direction, all right? And I'd have to try and change some angles up. Yes, all fine, Michelle, trying. Oh, okay. Retracted, yep, all good, no worries. All right, so I'm just going to open up this little pack. I did do a live sale on these today. This is number E16, just FYI. It's a very big piece. It's quite wide, which is great. So I can choose to sort of decide where I want it. I mean, I can have it there, maybe across the centre sort of way, and then I can work backwards and forwards on either side. And I think I might do that. So here, let's just change it up a bit, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to cut straight through it. And my first piece, any kind of crazy patchwork, is always going to be stitched down on either side or all around, a little bit like foundation piecing, okay? So I'm just going to move some of this stuff because it's everywhere, big pile of it everywhere. I'm going to grab my machine, go forward, so you can see. All right, I've got it on a bit of an angle for you. And because I'm going off the page, so to speak, I'm just going to realign it up a little. And because I'm going off the edge there, from one edge to the other, I don't have to do around the sides if I don't want to, which I'm not. Why would I bother? So foot down, forward and back. Someone else has been on my machine, so it's a bit slower. And I'm just going to sew it along. So Yasmina liked the one I did the other day on the fabric top one, the fabric top piece, that she now wants me to do one for her. So isn't that awesome? Isn't that lovely? I can go down the side just for travel's sake. One more step. So when I'm stitching just inside that yellow there, and that's going to be my first seam. My stitch length is normal. I've got the walking foot on because it does get quite thick, and the thread I'm using is a pre-wound bobbin in the bottom from Wonderfil, and it's white. And also I'm using a Wonderfil, I think it's confetti or spaghetti. I think it's confetti on the top, just white. So that's our first one. Oops, Daisy, just press buttons. Don't be doing that. Okay, so first one's right there. Perfect. Now, what we need to do is look, and I've just got to get it in the screen. There we go, there we go. We're going to do either side. So I'm going to work on either side. So I need to look at what I have here. So I love batiks, as you most likely know, and I also love silk. So maybe thinking that I've got, now if I go across there, right, so say if I was to put that one there, it's going to have an issue on this side. So I would have to join a piece to it to make it long enough to go right across. It can be another colour if I wish. It can be anything I like. And I have this sort of random bit of silk there. So I can join, actually I might get the shorter end, smaller end, just join those two, just quickly sew them together. And trim that up, fold it out, and just press it with my fingers. Now, there I can move it up or down or whatever I like. I can have it on a bit of an angle. It might take out some of that, or I can trim it up. Now, if you've got a blade, use your blade if you want to. It makes no diff with this sort of thing, but it does create a bit of accuracy. Being silk, a blade won't really help. And these scissors have like a little bit of a serrator to them, so it keeps catching on the silk. So, all right. So there I know I can flip that. I'm definitely not going to put that in the center because that will just look weird and, you know, not so wonderful. So I want it off center. So that's where I'm going to place it. I'm just going to grab a couple of pins, a little sloth here. Just because it's so long, I really want to just place a couple of pins in just to help hold it. And it's silk. Silk tends to move. We love silk, but it does play funny buggers. And use the smaller pins. Don't try and use those big monster pins. They're too thick to get through. So I'm just let a nice press. I mean, I could use a different colour. It wouldn't matter. It's all good. So just across there. That should be enough. One in the end. So I'm going to go all the way along now, and I'm going to make sure that I stitch just in from that. So if I hold that up there, there's the stitch line. So I just need to make sure I come in that little bit further, okay? I'll move the machine up again. And place my foot down. But I also want to make sure that, you know, I don't take too much off the pattern. But it's not really that big a deal because being a crazy quilt, oh geez, got pins facing the wrong way, you know, it's not meant to be perfect. It's meant to be fun and bright and funky. So I think we're going to get there with that. Turn that off. Cute little pin cushion. Yeah, Gidget. That's one of those ones I had from ages ago. They were $2.95 or no, they were $3.95 or something. I can't remember. I used to have another pin cushion, but my daughter stole it. So that's come up there. It's come along nicely. Now what I'm going to do, because I've got this straight line thing, after I've sewn all these down, I'm actually going to come across with some other embellishments. So this one I'm just going to pin down there, just being silk. Don't want to put too much pressure on the seam. And I'm just going to work one way across there first, then I'll turn it around and do this side. Okay, so next one, I think we need a different colour. And I did see a purpley one. That might just do nicely. And again, just lifting, just keeping my my silk down. Just like I say, silk can move and carry on. And we don't really want to be playing that game today. Thanks very much. So you can pretty much decorate one of these in an afternoon quite easily, with an hour or so, and have it sewn on very quickly. So again, my needle in my machine does need replacing, just letting you know. That's why it's making that thumpy noise. And you'll probably notice, I mean, I'm not even really trimming anything on the outside. I'm just sort of feeding one fabric after the other, taking my pins out as I go, fold over. So stitch and flip. Okay. Don't need to pin that. Looks like it's going to be a polite little thing and stay. But I might just grab a little bit of this and probably need to do a quick little press. Probably should move my glasses out of the way or I'll end up knocking them off the table. And it's just because this is probably the end of a bolt I've had or something like that, so it's really quite crumpled up. And they're just about tying in knots at the end of some of these bolts. It's not so much because I'm a grot and I just leave things everywhere, but that too. All right. Yeah. Alrighty, so I'm going to pop this one here. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to measure that across and probably just cut a little bit off, just get it out of the way. Now this is where if I want to adjust the angle, I can. So I can come across here and make it go more to that way rather than sort of straight across. Oh, I can really sort of, you know, put it on an angle, or I can just keep going, but it just looks a bit neat. So I'm going to unneaten it soon. So I'm going to put a little bit of an angle on, but nothing to write home about. My machine back in. It's probably going to go off the edge of it anyway when I cut. So I'm not overly stressed. Looking good, thank you, Maureen. So this one here I'll probably cut off, and normally I'd use a blade, but oops, days on the camera. Don't put my mat over the side, so I'm just going to trim off the old-fashioned way, God forbid. Just make sure that's not folded over, which it was. Just out of the way, bang, crash. Flip it back. Okay, so here I can also put another colour in the corner, and I might actually just grab that right side down and come across there, and I should catch some of that, just some random angle. Bring it back in, come across there, and I'll leave the blue in. I'm just going to fold it over the top of it and hope that it's within the final cut. I mean, when I cut this, I can cut this across, you know, that way or, you know, whichever way I decide. You know, it doesn't have to be straight across. As long as I've got all that fabric on the piece I'm going to sew it to, Bob's your uncle. So this baby probably needs maybe 1 or 2 pins just because it's a soft embroidery. Hi, Julian. Soft embroidery chiffon with little diamond, or not diamondy, little shiny bits. And I'm going to just trim that up to there, which is where we've got it, just across. Again, like I say, we will lose some of this as well anywho. Don't throw those out. They will come in handy for something else, especially in your crazy patchwork. Oh, just missed my pin. That was lucky. Now I'm going to spin her around and do the other side. And then I'm going to decorate. All right. So I am going to grab a bit of gold, I think, this time. I'm reckoning. All right. So I find a straight edge. Yep, I'm thinking I'll go right across there, just like that. I am not cutting that. I am just going to hold it, put it under the machine. I'm not cutting, I'm not pinning, I've just grabbed it, making sure I'm going past that seam. Okay, give myself a bit of room. It is slippery. Just hang on to that, little darling. And make sure you're missing that previous stitch, which I will, all the way along. There we go, cut off. Push the machine back. Look at that big piece. We need to get rid of most of that, don't we? So let's go here. And you can see how delicate I am. All right, flip her over. Some nice bling. Bling is good. All right, a couple of pins in, small ones. Okay, so just to hold that down, I end up cutting that off there, I think, by the looks of it. And just to hold that seam down, like I say, I haven't added any more iron to it at all. Bent one. So at the moment, it's looking rather boring with lots of, you know, stripy sort of movements, but I'm going to fix that in a minute. Now, next one I'm thinking is going to be that, but I just want to see what it's going to look like. Nah, don't like that. Let's move to this. Oh, this one's pretty cool. That. I reckon that might be better on there, going across that way. So we'll hold off on that. And we might add, let's have a look what else we've got here, girls. You could also probably put another bit of pink. There we go. We go across that way. Don't have to remove my pins because they're way out of the way. But I will pin this down because it's a massive piece of fabric. Okay. Fabric out of the way. Oh, there we go. Make it a little bit flat. And you see I've come off the actual blue bit there. So I'm well off the side there. And I'm going to run up on that angle. Cut off. Okay. Now, again, grab that little bit of excess there and just move it out of the way. And just trim off that little bit there. A little bit hairy. And this needs to cover that corner, which is going to easily do. But I am going to decorate it. All right, so that's just going to fold over there and cover that corner nicely. And that's our whole piece. All right, before I've trimmed it or anything. So it's just sitting there. I can take those pins out of that now because that is stitched down and not going anywhere. But this one here is a little bit unruly because it's silk and it's on the edge. But that's going to cop a few pins there until I feel happy that it's not going to move on me. I've got my little scissors there. I'm just going to trim off some of those little baby hairs. Silk is it sort of shreds easily. Silk fabric, it sort of pulls and like you see it here. See how it just pulls and carries on. So the less you handle it, the better. Alrighty. Now, once we've got that like that, I've got a couple of things I can do. I could stitch around the whole thing. No point, because I'm going to actually go and do some ribbons straight away, or some decorative pieces straight away. So using from the pile I had the other day, I'm thinking we need to go not completely straight across, it looks like a cross, but we need to sort of throw in some different looking things, so that not everything is looking the same in the same direction, and you know, that sort of stuff. So even if it was on the edge, or you know, from underneath there coming across, you know, put it under there, have it come across like that on that edge, that would be fine. So I'm thinking to start there. That would be a good way to start. Get that little pin, and just because again it's silk, we're just going to pin that down there. And we've got the embroidered chiffon at the edge of this one. I've really chosen the worst fabrics you could possibly have on the edge of a piece. Doesn't matter. So do that, cut it off. Now, looking at it, I'm thinking, if we need to add some extra stuff in here. So I found some, you know, little bits of fabric, and I'm going to just sew it on over the top. I will just pin it there for a second. Keep it out of the way, because that's where it's going to go. I'll just fold it back out of the way for now, but that's where I'll have it. So I'm going to sew this one down first. I really want something else on the side of it. So, a sec. This will go beautifully. So I'm thinking that we need to, yeah, I think so. That can go on the side. And there's another good one. All right, beauty, beauty, beauty. So just place that there, bring it all forward. You can see. I'm going away. No, I'm not going away. There we go. Okie doke. Start with this one. And right on the edge. Straight on the edge of it. Straight across all layers. When you get to the final edge of the fabric, turn it, stitch down, stop, up and across, and stitch down the other side. Now, you don't have to cut off there, but I did. All right, this baby can go on this edge, and I'm going to go right down the center of that one, needle down just to hang on to it, and straight on the edge there, straight down the center of it. And that's all I need, just to hang on to it. All right, so that looks pretty cool. I'm liking that. That looks nice. Now, I also noticed we've got sort of some, you know, some other sort of funky areas that are a bit boring. So I'm just going to cut a piece of silk at a random shape, if I can get it. And I'm going to let it cross over, thread out of the way, just like that. Just pin that there for a second. Place it under the machine. And I'm going to stitch, needle down, and I'm not needle down yet, and I'm going to just do, where is it? I'm just going to do this thing, just so that might do it. maybe that one. So I'm just going to make it small. Is that what I want? No, I want wider. I want that in. That's what I want. So you can't see this really well, but on the machine I've changed it to that design. So I'm just needle down now and take out the pin. Come on, pin, work with me. I'm going to, let's see if we can get you right in there. I'm going with this machine. No, wrong way. Get the iron out of the way. We'll go on the wrong side. There we go. Yep. So I'm going to just start, and it's going to do this sort of wavy stitch, which I'm fine with. And I'm not right on the edge, I'm next to it. And just pick it up and turn it. And you've got to turn. I'm just going to do that, turn that way. And I'm going to run down here. Pure luck where the needle lands. I want to trim that off. And go down. Almost get to the end and just stop. I sort of stress if it's not looking, you know, spectacularly perfect. It's no biggie. Bit of a notch. Of course not. And then cut off. And then lift up. And then you get that sort of effect. Okay, so we've got this bit of fabric here. That's from fluff. All right. So I've just sewn that straight over the top. A little bit of a patch, yeah? Then you can, one, using your embellishments again. Just get them out. I have the tiniest little bit of this left, which I'm going to use. And I'm literally going to cut along there, just separating that, cutting that there, just to separate that little bit of green there, and that one there, just like that. And go back to the first one. And don't cover all of that little patch you made, but we just want to sort of put it off on an angle, just something to decorate it with, yeah? Normally I would do a free motion thing with this, but I'm not. I'm not going to upset the whole apple cart and change of needles. So I'm literally just manoeuvring it around the edge a bit without caring too much. You can hand sew it on if you want to. But this is very much me because you know, I just don't have time for hand sewing. I love hand sewing, just no time. And then just cut off. Just going to trim up the threads. And look, you know, I'd get a red texture and I'll show you what I mean. So I'll grab a red texture and a green one. Even the black one would do it in there. So you can't see it in the yellow or the green, light green. But if I get the texture and just touch that bit of thread, zip gone. How cool is that? Just fill her in with a bit of texture. Hey, look at that. All right. I can do my green bit now. So I've got a brown that'll work too. So you can just grab it and just get your little bit of brown in there. Just touch it up. You can't see it. See? Just goes. Goes. Tricks of the trade. Right. Now let's do another patch. Because I don't like doing too much that's too boring. So let's do this one here. I'm going to use a straight stitch this time, just nice and straight. Come across there on a big point. And come down the other rough side. It's probably going to go off the piece. It'll get, half of this will get cut off, I'd say. Some of it will anyway, maybe the corner. Right. So take off that little bit of thread. And I've got that sewn on now. The thread everywhere. So it's just sewn on, just as a patch. And I'm just going to leave it, just leave it there. She's all good. Rightio. Let's go and do some more stuff. Because me be thinking, me likey. So this here, it really wants to go across there, doesn't it? I just put it on a better angle. And it's going to go, and I might just cut the angle different so I can put it on across there. So can you see that? So it just goes across there, but instead of having it straight on, I've got it on an angle. So I have cut off like a little wedge, so it's not dead straight across one way. So that's going to go there. The other option, of course, is to actually fold it under. Might create a little bit of bulk, but, you know, I'm going to stitch that down. She'll be right. Trim the other side. Move that out of the way. And up under the machine. You can pin it down, of course. I'm going to start there, going across there. Because that's like my weakest point. And I'm just going to stitch right along the edge on either side. And because the needle's going into little, what they call them, little tiny little bits of beads and stuff, it will sort of shatter some, and they might just, you know, split off and stuff. So keep an eye on them that they don't get caught up under your machine. Oh. There we go. And we broke the thread. Try again, Michelle. Oh, wrong side. Alrighty. Just because I can, I'm just going to come across that edge again, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. Cut that off. Where did the other little bits go? Okay, oh, there they are. So I've got a hot pink and a yellow one this time. So I'm just going to come in there and cut that off there. Maybe, yep, there. Got two there. So That's 4 flowers. So that's there, and that can just go across there nicely, but I'm going to change the angle up so it's not running parallel. I don't want it parallel. I want it to come across on a different angle. Again, just moving it around, trying to keep my hand out of the way. I'm on a different angle of the table today. You notice? I might not even need to touch this one up because it's all fairly light colours. Is there any questions at all at the moment? Oh, there's a little bit there. So I'm just going to use my red just to touch up those. This pink's close to red. And it looks beautiful. There we go. All done. No, just ideas, yeah. All right, so that's those 2 little ones done. Then I always love to have an odd number. So we need a number 5. So it's going to be this little Lello one. And I'm going to come across here. So just utilising what I've got here. And it's only a half a flower, and most people would go, oh, you know, that's I can't use that. What am I going to do with that? Well, I'll show you. Take that red off. So I've got half a flower. So rather than sort of panicking about it, I'm going to lift up that bit of ribbon there, just lift up the edge of it, and it's literally going to sit just under the edge of that as a single flower. Or do I pop it there like it's going behind that purple, or the other side of it? I think the other side of it. Yeah, me like this. You're ready. So let's stitch that baby down. And again, I'm working on the opposite side. So it's a bit weird for me. Wait, like that, scissors. And like I say, I could lose a little bit of that, and that's okay. Just watching while I sew my 16 centre blocks together. Oh, nice. Oh, it's exciting. So then I thought, well, I've got this little bit green, so I can either leave it there or I could, you know, attach it on somewhere else. You know, I think it might be a little bit of scrap. All right, now we've sort of decorated that corner to death. I am going to just stitch down that bit there because it's probably going to be a nuisance later when I'm cutting. And you can hardly see what I'm doing, you poor things. I'm trying really hard. Let's go get that leg out of there. Just go this way. God, Michelle. Wrong way, silly woman. That way. There we go. So that should help that edge there just stay down. All right, so let's move that baby. So that's pretty cool at the moment. I'm liking that, liking the effect. Let's go and decorate over this side. I found, I forgot I even had this baby. Look at that. So I'm going to cross that literally over there. I said I wouldn't do that, but I am now. So big piece off. This will help hold down that little bit of, where's it go, up here, little bit of silk in the corner, that, or I should say that big piece of pink here. So that should help hold that down, just coming across there in that fashion. So go down one side and then the other, okay? I'm not being the straightest. That way. And that side. Oops, went off the rails there. Because it's so far away from me. It's all like all the way over there. All the way over there. So we also got these flower ribbons as well. And I'm going to grab one off it. I had them on sale today. Well, not on sale, but on, had them showing. So that's just going across there. Right, just to mix up all that corner there. I can take them babies out and that out. Goes all the way up here, actually, all the way up there. So I might pop that up there, and that'll show me where my corner is, like that. Alrighty. So just put that there for a second, and put the foot down, and bring it forward, just so you can see it. And let me get something. So I've grabbed me a bit of this tulle flower. This is from today's little sales. I'm just going to trim the tulle around it. I am using a white thread, so you probably see some of this, but not how much I care about those sort of things. Oh, all right, so I'm going to just push it around, big circle. Oops, those, keep going. Push, 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 push. And I'm going to get my little red texter or hot pink texter, whichever one you got. I'm just going to colour that in. All right. So you can see the white stitching. It's pretty much going to disappear when I do that. Because it's so close to the hot pink, that bright red, you're not really going to see it. It's like a bit of a paint job. There you go, look at that. How's that for cheating? Gotta love the cheaties. All right, so that little bit there, if I go trimming that off, you know what's going to happen, don't you? It's going to come undone. Don't do that. Get your machine and just, oh, come on, darling. It's stranded thread. It's crazy, crazy fine. Just loop that down. Come on. And needle down and up, needle down and up. I'm just moving it back and forwards manually just to see if I can get it to hold. All right, let's just cut off. I might have made a mess, but I didn't, did I? I actually stitched that down. I've got a little bit there still, but it's all good. I've stitched it in. I can trim that off. So just trying to get my pair of scissors in without cutting everything else. So because I stitched that down in there, I can trim that off now. Nice. Me likey. So, not finished yet. I got stuff I want to know. All right, now this one again. Well, this one I haven't used. Oh, I've got to do that then. I'm actually going to go across that way, underneath that fleur. Start on. Oh, have I unthreaded my needle again? Silly woman. Oh, dang it. Put a button on it. A Suffolk puff. Doesn't need a button now. I just put a couple of stitches in it. It's like doing a button stitch, I suppose. Come on, sweetie. Playing with Mama. Just keeping an eye on my phone, my camera too, that it doesn't go flash. I did chuck it on charge during the break. There we go. Come on, baby. And of course, I'm doing it without glasses on, which is stupid. And the foot's up, and I can't get my fingers in there. There we go. I can do it without glasses. I'm just being difficult. Or bling it. Yes. Yes. The other thing that, I mean, Mary did that panel, one of those panels that I painted. She painted one in the greens, and she put those beads, you know, those, what are they called? They're little gems, and they you hot glue them, or they hot glue themselves. Like it's got a little tool. So I'm just going to stitch that right on the edge, underneath there, trying to avoid the pink if I can. Doesn't matter. Across there should be nice. I can feel a pin under there. So just keep my finger there. Right up and stop. Turn it around. I haven't cut that one off. How rude. Down there. Cross on that angle. Sorry, my hands are in the way again. And then down this way. Down this way. And the other thing too is I've still got more of that ribbon that we used at the start. And this is what I say, it doesn't matter if you stitch over the little loops or, you know, the bit of the decoration, because when it comes down to it and you do all this, hot fixed rhinestones, God, you're good. That's them. Because when it comes down to it, you're just not going to notice that you've gone, oh, you know, bugger, I've gone just over that a bit. That's not going to be noticeable. But, yeah, I mean, you can keep going and going and going with this. It's just phenomenal. So I've got this sort of, probably about a half metre piece, and maybe thinking that, yeah, don't I? Yeah, I might, maybe along, yeah, it's going to be parallel. I'll go that way. So I'm going to just put it on the edge here. And just looking at it, I can tell that if I don't have that nice and neat, I'll create a bloody mess. There we go. So I'm just going to go across there, away from that fleur. Put down, needle down. Let's give it a bit of a stitch down because it's right on the edge of it. Up there. Again, I didn't cut that off. Right. Space across there. I reckon that's enough. Okay, Gidget. Yeah. All right, well, I'll do this one. I am thinking that I probably still have one more little thing, and I'll show you why. Across there. I have been gathering and hunting for stuff for next year's project room. These things are in the box. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So I've got like this raw seamy thing here, which sort of it just plays with me OCD. So that little bit of leaf that I had before from, you know, I'm literally going to sort of make it look like it's, you know, supposed to be there. So it's just, there you go. You can see it in that camera. Just thinking about it, or do I just pluck up some courage and cut a little bit more off this. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Just do this. Watch. She be good. She be right, mate. Come on, around there. Trying to go around that. So we got 2 little bits. See those? I'm thinking, maybe thinking that they can come off from that side. Sorry, you can't see that at all. Up here. So they come up there. No, that looks crap too. All right. I'm just thinking. Think, Michelle. Think. Oh, got it. Nice. Nice. Just enough. I have just enough. Going to turn that edge over on that one because it's really hairy. See how hairy it is? Might actually just trim a little. Turn it over so it's under. Loop it under. Really tuck it under because it will be a right shot. And right across there. Nice. So I'm just going to stitch that right across there. Perfect. See, there's a will, there's a way. And just enough to do what I want it to do. So that no real wastage, which is super awesome. And do. Nice. Me likey. Right, now we've got to get it to go on this bag. Where's your bag? Underneath everything. So, obviously going to be wider rig, but we sort of want to centralise it. We don't run away. There we go. So, what we do is we get our measuring stick. Get that now. And I know Daisy it's going to be from there. We need it to this seam because that actually we could go to this seam. We'll go to this seam. It gives me a bit more, doesn't it? So I'm reckoning that is, well, if we go 4.5 inches, I'm going to go right to that bit there, right inside that seam, 4.5 to 14 3/4. So I need to go and cut it at that size. So 14 3/4 by 4.5. So I'm just going to move the camera over here and just zoom it over. Bear with me. I have a cord in front of it. So I'm just going to unplug it now. Don't put that plug in. And you'll be able to see me cut it. I'll take it down and do that. Okay. First things first, I need a nice straight line. Okay. So what I say, 4.25, 4.5. I'm going to go from here. 4.5 sort of takes me around about there. So I'm going to come down. Before I cut that. I'm going to come down right on the edge of those flowers that were there. So straight down. 4.5 is going to give me that bit there. So I'm really going to get that right in central. So the other option is going across at an angle, but that'll make it look straight. So yes, we cut that off. Turn it that way and line it up on your board, but don't use your board as your measuring stick. Use your ruler. So 4.5. So I'm lining it up on that 4.5 line on the ruler, not the mat. I've just used the mat as to give me a guide of a straight line. It's just an eyeball. And we're going to come down here. And oh no, those bits do not get wasted. Trust me. So then I'm just going to measure across there. So I need 14 3/4, and that's like 18 inches or so. So now I can take off a good couple of inches there. So I'm just going to create a straight edge by using the line across my ruler, not the mat. It's going to give me a straight edge there. Put it on the mat in that, like in that hook, like a crook of an arm, you know, and that 90-degree angle. Then measure up your 14.5 inches. So 14 and 3/4. So we've got 14 is here and 3/4. So it's this here, this line here. And I've got to come back 1/4 of an inch. So I've lined it up right on the 12, which is 14, which is 15 inches right there. Okay, on that line, 15 inches. So if I come back 1/4 of an inch, theoretically, that should give me 14 3/4. That's going to go right through those flowers. Can't do that. So I'm just going to cut a line here. I'm going to turn it again. Not doing that, not cutting through those flowers. I spend a lot of time putting them in. Let's try again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15, and then back 1/4. So move your ruler back 1/4 of an inch. And that should definitely get in my piece. So I can see it sort of lifting here. That's going to get stitched down into it. That's no big deal. This here's got a bit of an angle thing going on. That's because the flower is poofy and that's silk and it cracks it. There's no contact between the silk and the blade. Sometimes you've just got to get a little bit nicer to it. That is now ready to go on our piece. So come back over here. Move the camera around. There we go. A big mess. Let's zoom back in here. And move it down so you can see what I'm doing. Alrighty. Now, that's going to go on the front there. Is that just not going to be amazeballs awesome? So, undo that. Move the sunshine right out of the way. All right. Now I'm going to go from there. I'll push right up tight to push the friendship. And I want it to go right into those edges, those seams. So you can see that seam there. I want it to go right in there. All right. It's probably going to be quite easy because it's not as tight as the other one we did. And it's very thick there. Apologies. Just put a pin in there. Just make sure your fabric's all folded the right way. Just one there. All right. And we're going to run along that seam line there where the binding is. All right. We want to make sure that we catch all those little silky bits and everything when we're got under the needle. Oops, it is. Try again. Okay, all along here. There. Like that. Then now that corner is perfect. So let's sit up there just nicely. Now, indeed. And there. And when we're sewing, we want to make sure that this booger is well out of our way. So just pin that back with, you know, either a clip or I'm going to use the big monster pins, but don't pin through your plastic. You don't want to put holes in your plastic. So just make sure you pin underneath there like that and not through your plastic cover. All right, just keeps it well out of the way. Put pins across here. And I'm not a pinaholic, but when it comes to something like this, there's so much movement in between silks and the bag and everything else, and ribbons, all that stuff. I just like to have a few pins in it. I'm going to start probably, I reckon, the hard side first. So I'm going to start this side first and see if I can get that sorted. And I'm just going to move the machine. There we go. Just making sure that that part of the bag is folded, like this, folded back. Get some clips. Even a bull clip, and we're nearly there. Puppy's just got home, which is perfect timing. I'm not starting on the corner. I'm going to start just in, needle down, just to hang on to it. Now I can do a decorative stitch or whatever I like. So I'm thinking I might actually, might do it like a, I don't know, maybe you can see that on the machine there. I'm going to do that one. See what happens. Needle up, see if that moves my thing. So I'm just inside. Yeah, that's good. So it's going to catch the edge of this as well as that. Oh, that looks pretty cool. I'll show you in a minute. You guys will see it. If I'm going the wrong way. Oh, the wrong way. There we go. All right. So why is it doing that? It just keeps showing me the wrong way. So we're going to, so I thought that it would actually grab some of those little furry bits, you know, where ribbons have been cut off and flowers are cut off and that sort of thing. So it doesn't matter if you stitch over your Velcro. It's not like you're covering it so that it won't work. It will work perfectly fine. You can see it starting to come together there. See that? So I'll just take that pin out. Come on, baby. You can see it's moved from the corner bits. I'm just going to do a bit of tweaking. So corners are going to be the hardest. And, you know, such not a perfectionist. So one stitch at a time, one stitch forward, one stitch back, one stitch forward. And then I'm going to, yeah, it just wants to go forward. So I'm going to cut off there. It just wants to go forward. I'm going to lift and blind man would love to see that. Treat. That noise is just the clip hitting. Yeah, I can unpick a stitch. Here we go. Almost there, girls. Woohoo! Tickety, 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 tick. Oh, just did the off thing. Checking the battery. It's going down, so we have timed this beautifully. Turn it around. I just want to see where the first stitch is going. Perfect. All right. Now, this is the hard side. I did say I was going to do this side, but I chickened out. All right. How gorgeous is it? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And how effective is it? I'm actually doing a little bit of a jig here at the same time to the sound of the machine. You know, machines have that. I always love the crazy look. Oh, me too. I have had. It would have to be probably my most favourite old-fashioned sort of, you know, retro look. I really, really love it because you can modernise it as well. You know, with your limes and all, you know, these bright colours, and just personalise it, and I love it. Embroider, you can embroider first and then crazy patchwork on that. Turnies. It's the hippie look. Oh yeah, free love and moonbeams, baby. Bring it on. Alrighty, we're so close. I'm so excited to see this one. I've been wanting to do this one. I do have other bags that I have to do. So we will be getting more tutorials as we go. Alrighty, we're almost there. Oopsie guys, sit down. Oh yeah. Alright, stop button, cut off. Me lovey. I'm pretty crazy too. Look. Right, so I'll just take all these pins and everything out. They're making it look a little bit wonky. Probably could do with a nice press now. Oh, looky, and I've got decorative on the inside. It's a little bit wonky there, but oh, okay. It's mine and I love it. Looky. How cool is that? Do we not love that look? Hey? That is amazeballs look. Oh, it's just, I love it. I'm in love. You didn't get yourself some of those, babies, you might want to be getting some of those. They were at the start of the first video. They are by the metre, and I'm pretty sure they're $8 a metre off the top of my head. And there's only a few metres of each colour. And look at that. Hey, hey. That is amazing. Me lovey. All righty, girlies. That is super awesome. Yes. So again, look, my corners are really crap. And you know what? I don't care because it's done. I'll clean it up with a little bit of the scissors and stuff, you know, just, you know, clean up my hairy bits. Can't have my hairy bits hanging out there. And should be good. Good to go. Yeah. Well, you know, I don't do perfect, so I don't mind if she's a bit chunked up in the corners. Look, you know what? Get another flower and throw it in there. Or like Gidget said, get a button. But that looks really, really cool. I'm very excited about the progress on that. I did have, it looks like it's missed some stitches there. Might have been a bit of a moment it had. But it's caught it on the other side, so I'm good with that. We like it. Happiness. So now I can put my block back in. So, this is my block that I had in it. So I open that up, and then I can place that in there. Let me just zoom out. And then I can place that back in there, just like that. Fold that over. And whether you didn't know it because of that, but because of that, you know that baby's mine. So, this is going to have to be the next one. We might have a go at that one tomorrow and see if we can finish off that eye, a little bit of the mane. So close to finishing that. That'd be good, hey? So that there, I will actually get the proper name off it. I think it's the project bag, okay, off the top of my head. So project bag. And comes in all the colours. They're on my website, and I think it's number 540. Okay, and you can decorate yours too to be as spunky as mine. Awesome! Alrighty, let's turn this up. Oh, turn it over. Right. Even the makeup, I washed that makeup off before. I felt like my skin was going to peel off. Oh. So thank you again for joining me. Love you guys to pieces. You're the ants pants. Share, like, and subscribe, obviously. And the subscribe button's down there somewhere. And tell everyone that we're having fun here for the next 4 days, at least once or twice a day. And we have sales. Some nice stuff. You would have seen that this morning. 1 o'clock for Savo. All right, ladies, thank you again for joining me. I've had a really good day, but I am buggered because I've had 3.5 hours sleep after having indigestion all night. So, no pastry, no more pastry. All right, ladies.